Welcome to the second part of my review of Tokyo DisneySea. If you haven't watched the first part yet, I highly recommend doing that now before coming back to this video. I'll continue right where I left off, so let's dive right into the review. Mediterranean Harbor, Venice, and American Waterfront already make DisneySea one of the best parks out there. And I guess Toyville is there as well. But there are 5 more breathtaking areas to cover, and there are some really good attractions worth mentioning on top of that. Behind American Waterfront is Port Discovery, which is a very unique area of the park. While it's tricky to accurately describe this area's theme, I'd call it a steampunk harbor. It's not too large, and most of the area is taken up by the attractions, but I quite like the atmosphere here. The electric railway is integrated into this area nicely as well, and I highly recommend taking a ride. The 2 main attractions of this area are Aquatopia, a fun-looking water flat ride, and Nemo and Friends Sea Rider, which is a water duck ride themed to Finding Nemo. I didn't ride these rides, but both of them seem pretty fun. It's a really solid area overall, but it gets overshadowed by most of the other areas. Located in the back of the park is Lost River Delta, which is DisneySea's Indiana Jones area. This is a really good one because it's versatile, immersive, and it features the park's best ride. You can board the park's steamliner boats here, which can take you to Mediterranean Harbor and American Waterfront. The highlight of Lost River Delta is Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull, which is situated inside this really cool looking temple. Not only is this my favorite attraction at DisneySea, but it also is my favorite dark ride in general. The theming of the queue line on this ride might be the best I've experienced yet, because it's extremely detailed, big, and there is so much of it. I really wouldn't mind waiting a while for this ride, because this queue line is better than entire attractions. It's a bit of a shame that I used the single rider on both of my rides, but it saved a lot of time. I really recommend using it, because you could walk right into the station and board almost immediately, which was the case on both of my rides. There is no actual sign implying that a single rider exists, which might be the reason why no one else was using it, but if you go to the Fast Pass entrance and say that you're a single rider, you can skip the entire line without missing out on that awesome queue experience. The actual ride itself is in a league of its own. You board these big truck-like vehicles before experiencing one of the most intense dark rides out there. This honestly is the most intense ride at the park. These trucks travel through the course at a pretty high speed while also simulating an off-road feel. And from start to finish, this ride is stunning. There is a ton of extremely detailed and well-presented set pieces throughout the ride. The sound effects and the music are really good, and all of the effects work flawlessly. The high speed results in a high amount of laterals, which makes this the most immersive ride that I've experienced so far. I'm not even a dark ride person, and I was speechless after both of my rides. Before my Japan trip, I thought the Efteling dark rides and Forbidden Journey were among the best, but Spider-Man at Universal Studios Japan and especially Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull blow them out of the water. Disney knows how to do dark rides, that's for sure. Next to Indiana Jones is Raging Spirits, which is a modified clone of the Indiana Jones coaster at Disneyland Paris. I haven't heard much good things about Entertainment's take on a Pinfari Cyclone, so I was going in with very low expectations. Let me get the bad things out of the way first. This is a really tame ride. It has only one interesting element, which is the drop into the loop, but the rest of the ride did nothing. However, it was smooth, which I haven't heard about its French counterpart, and the theming was great. While this definitely is a one and done, it is a decent attraction nonetheless. I'm going to move on to the next area now, because otherwise this video would get too long, and I don't want to make a third part. Lost River Delta is connected to Arabian Coast, which is another awesome part of DisneySea. It's quite large as it features a beautiful coast section, an Arabian market, and a big plaza with impressive buildings. There are details all around the area, and it had a unique atmosphere. I didn't spend that much time here, because I didn't have the time to fully explore every area of the park, but I was very impressed regardless. There is a good bunch of attractions here, of which I wrote Sinbad's storybook voyage. I knew nothing about this ride beforehand, but I decided to try it out because it had little to no line at all, and this dark ride is the park's hidden gem. It's a water dark ride with a ride system and theme similar to Fata Morgana at Efteling. Sinbad is a very long ride with a ton of really good animatronics. The whole theme of the attraction feels very cartoonish, but it makes for a unique and ultimately pretty good experience. I certainly recommend giving this ride a shot, as it was one of the better dark rides that I've done so far. With amazing attractions and awesome theming, the Arabian Coast is another home run for DisneySea. Next to Arabian Coast is Mermaid Lagoon, which is themed to the Little Mermaid. From the outside, you can only see the family coaster and the cool entrance, because what seems like a rather small section of the park actually turns out to be a massive indoor area. After passing through the impressive entrance building and finding the actual entrance, which is a little bit hidden, you are presented with a stunning view of the prettiest indoor theme park area that I've ever seen. There is a bunch of flat rides in here, but the highlight is the atmosphere. The lighting and theming try to make you feel like you're underwater, and I dig that idea. You could easily miss this section of DisneySea, but I highly recommend checking it out because it's awesome. But I should move on because there's one more area to cover. If you go to the center of DisneySea, you enter Mysterious Island. This is where you will find the park's iconic volcano. This area is themed to the books of Jules Verne, and it looks stunning. The rockwork here is some of the best that I've ever seen, as it is very realistic, and the steampunk aesthetic gives this place a super unique atmosphere. As this area is connected to several other areas, there are a bunch of tunnels leading through the rocks. With all the steam effects, strange buildings, and even some hidden paths, you should take your time with this one. One of the highlights of Mysterious Island is the Nautilus, the submarine from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I also recommend taking a steamliner boat, as it travels right through this area. Ride-wise, Mysterious Island is home to two of the park's highlights. Journey to the Center of the Earth is a dark ride themed to Jules Verne's book with the same title. The queue line leads through the volcano, and this line never stops because this ride has a really high throughput. After taking some elevators, which have some cool effects, you enter the ride station, which looks crazy. You then board the odd-looking vehicles before getting dispatched. The first part of this ride features some rooms with very interesting theming before the ride picks up some speed. The scenes in the next part are pretty cool, especially the last one, and there are no screens here, it's all practical effects. Then follows a very fast section which could have counted as a roller coaster if it wasn't powered, before then shooting out of the volcano. It's really cool to rush out the darkness, but the ride ends almost immediately after that, which brings me to my one complaint with this ride. It feels too short. They could have done a lot more with it. The thrill section at the end wasn't intense, so it felt unnecessary for the most part, so they could have put a bigger focus on the indoor part with the cool effects. Despite that, it still is the second best attraction at the park, and it's a must ride for sure. The other ride in Mysterious Island is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is based on the Jules Verne book as well. You have to take the spiral path down to water level in order to ride, which is a nice touch. The ride itself features these unique vehicles, which resemble the observation deck of the Nautilus. As the name suggests, you dive down under the sea. The ride system does make you feel like you're actually diving with a submarine, which already makes this an awesome attraction. There are some innovative effects during the ride, and I was pleasantly surprised overall. Don't miss out on this one, it's a must-do for sure. That's all for Mysterious Island. As you can see, Tokyo DisneySea is a brilliant park. The themed lands are stunning, the rides deliver, and the attention to detail is insane. I also have to mention how well the park is run. As it's Japan, the park obviously is clean, but there is more than just that. DisneySea manages the crowds better than any other park that I've been to, and it's not close either. No place felt overcrowded, the lines moved fast, and the staff knew what they were doing. Objectively, DisneySea is almost flawless and probably the best park that I've been to. I'm very biased towards Cedar Point, my favorite amusement park, but DisneySea comes in right behind that. If they were to add one major roller coaster with the same level of theming as the rest of the park, DisneySea would likely become the best park on the planet, if it isn't already. And with that we have reached the end of my long DisneySea review. Thanks for watching, bye.